It's time for a look at what's on the Morning Joe reading list that time of the week. Joining us now, New York Times bestselling author Ryan Holiday. He hosts a top-ranked podcast, The Daily Stoic, that gets roughly 5 million downloads per month. Ryan is also the owner of The Painted Porch, an independent bookstore in Texas, where he regularly shares reading recommendations with more than 1 million of his followers on social media. And Ryan, Joe is so bummed not to be here today. He wanted me to tell you he's stuck between a daughter's graduation and a son's 18th birthday and living in different states. And so he will be back, but he really, really wanted to be here today. And I need to tap into some stoicism after this week. Don't you think, Lemire? It's been like a week.
Yeah, we all could use a little bit of that.
I just, is it your podcast? Where can we go to learn how to be a Stoic?
Well, the Daily Stoic email goes out to 1 million people every morning. And the idea is to take these thoughts from people who also lived through chaos and uncertainty and tyranny, and they put down some lessons for us. So we meditate on that every morning.
Oh, tapping into living with uncertainty is one of the hardest things for anybody to do. So, Ryan, the list that you've curated this morning are books you believe readers should have on their summer reading list. What's the first one?
So let's get into it. Yeah. Number one, Night of the Grizzlies by Jack Olson, a book recounting 2 tragic grizzly bear attacks that occurred on the same night in 1967. I mean, that doesn't sound like the most relaxing summer reading, but okay.
Don't read this one if you are going camping in a national park this summer. Glacier National Park hadn't had a fatality in almost 60 years. And then, yes, on a single night in 1967, 2 different groups of hikers were attacked at the same time. It's a terrifying book, but it is a riveting true crime book about one of the most beautiful places on the planet. This book should be much better known. When we found it, it was basically out of print, and we've had to beg the publisher to print more and more of them. You will love this book. It is man versus nature, nature versus man. Just an amazing book.
All right, second, Shadow Divers, Robert Kurson, a book exploring what happens when 2 divers make a life-changing discovery. Why do you love it?
This is another one for maybe for people who don't read a lot, or they want to get their dad into reading or their son into reading. A group of divers in the early 90s discover a German U-boat sunk off the coast of New Jersey, below the depths that divers should be able to reach. And it's about them pushing their limits. It's about them discovering this historical artifact, exploring it. Just a fascinating book. I love this genre. We would call it narrative nonfiction. And it's just those books that if it was a novel, you would love it. But the fact that it's true makes it all the more exciting.
So let's move from World War II to Vietnam. Next book, Over the Beach by Zalin Grant, a 1986 account by the author of how the air war was fought in that conflict.
Yeah, I try to find books that maybe people hadn't heard of, and I hadn't heard of this one until last month. This is new journalism at its finest. Vietnam veteran embeds with VF-162, a fighter squadron flying off Yankee Station in the early days of Vietnam, and then he checks in with them 20 years later. I think there's some parallels here to today, right? When you have this amazing military, some of the most competent, brave, talented individuals in the world being sent in mission after mission that they don't fully understand in a war that doesn't make sense. And yet, how do they do what they do? And, flying off a carrier, they're flying off the USS Oriskany, which is the ship John McCain flew off of. You just get a sense of how incredible these carrier pilots are and what it means to take off and land an F-8 Crusader off of an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean. It is unbelievable, this book. It is so good. More people should read this.
I'm excited I get Walter's book here, which is so important right now, especially as we celebrate America's 250th. Walter looks back at one sentence that made this country what it is today. Tell us about it.
Yeah, let's read that sentence. This is the second sentence in the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's worth pointing out, in the original draft, Jefferson didn't say unalienable rights. He said sacred rights. And Benjamin Franklin crosses that out and he says unalienable, right? Fundamental, inarguable, inescapable. This is a wonderful meditation on not just one of the greatest documents ever written, but as he says, one of the greatest sentences ever written. Every American should read this. You should read it with your kids. You should send it to your representatives.
Yes.
I think this couldn't be more timely.
And the importance of a good editor, especially when it's Benjamin Franklin. Next book, A Marriage at Sea by Sophie Elmhurst, a book that explores the real-life circumstances that lead an odd couple to get stranded at sea.
I don't like boats, but I love books about shipwrecks. And this is a young couple in the 70s. They decide to sell all their possessions and sail from London to New Zealand. All is going well until a whale sinks their boat, like a real-life Moby Dick situation. Yeah. And the rest of the book is about their time at sea as they try to survive. And it is a book about survival. It is a book about shipwreck, but it's really about what something like that would do to a marriage. Imagine being stuck with your spouse in a small lifeboat in the middle of the Pacific. This is an amazing book.
Yeah, Joe and me right now.
There's some parallels here. Yeah.
That actually. Yep, feeling kind of alone here. All right, good book. Raw Dog, The Naked Truth About Hot Dogs by Jamie Loftus. This book looks at the history of the delicious boardwalk snack that is also gross. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, in that SNL George Washington sketch, Nate Bargatze says a real American wouldn't want to know what's in a hot dog.
No,
and if you do want to know, this is the book for you. It's written by an amazing comedy writer. She's going on a road trip across the United States, and she's studying what goes into a hot dog, why some of them cost $1 and some of them cost $50. It is hilarious. It is a good look at America. It's a good look at our food system. And this is, again, another book I think more people should know about.
And Ryan, lastly and quickly, The Art Thief by Michael Finkel, which digs into the true story of one of the most prolific art thieves of all time.
A guy steals $2 billion worth of art from museums across Europe, not for money, but for love of the game. He hides it in his attic apartment in his mother's house. And he doesn't show anyone. He's just addicted to stealing. This is a modern day Catch Me If You Can. You will not believe this book. It is absolutely fascinating. And the access that this author has, it takes you inside the museums as he is stealing this stuff. So if you're planning on touring Europe or going somewhere this summer, this will give you a whole new lens as you walk through some of these tiny little museums, imagining a guy just pilfering the stuff so he can look up at it while he goes to bed each night.
Ryan Holiday, we love how you talk about these books that you've chosen. You make us want to read them. It's great to have you on every week. And you can check out The Daily Stoic anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm doing that today. And visit thepaintedporch.com for more information. Ryan, thank you so much for being on this morning.